those today. And so I don't need to explain to you. You guys know, you guys get me because you have gone through that yourself. So tonight I am gonna walk you through a lot, well, several games with Jamboard that I've actually been playing. You can play so many of them. So the first one that I'm gonna share with you guys tonight, this is gonna be informal. I don't have a presentation. I'm just gonna show you. And if you have any questions as I am talking and speaking, please ask them in the chat. I am looking at my computer, and even though we're not on stream yet and I can't highlight the comments, I can still see the comments on my phone. So I'll be able to read your comments either way. So thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And give me 1 second and we'll get to where we need to get to. And I am on Jamboard. So you can see my big, huge Jamboard mess over here in over here in my screen. But there's no shame on that. I am loving Jamboard. I was actually messaging online with Caitlin Leopard, who is also loving Jamboard, and she was just saying she was always trying to figure out how can she turn an activity into a jam. And I said, girl, me too. Now everything that I do, I try to see how can I turn that into a jam, because the students are so into it. They're so into it. So so we have over here my jams that I've been using with my students. And actually, I am looking for this one. Actually, I am looking for this one. So we're going to talk about the first one. Many of you already got my copies. Can you let me know in the messages if you already tried the weekend chat with your students? I share these templates with everybody in French, in English, and no, not in French, Spanish, and German. I shared the link so that everybody who wanted to try this could try them with their students. So a lot of people changed variations, and they switched things up, and they made some wonderful activities, and they shared it with me. And that's what I love about sharing ideas with you, that you can just take them and go and make them your own. So for example, in this particular activity, you will share, this is a template that I have free that I share with you guys. And actually, let me see if this is the one. Yeah, it looks like kind of like this. Is the link on my blog? Yes, the link is on my blog, but I have blogged a lot about Jamboard. So you have to go to the blog that says something about the weekend chat and Jamboard, and you'll be able to get that link for free. And again, it's in Spanish, French, and German. And I want to be clear and tell you that these pictures, I got them from Bethany Drew's Weekend Chat Mat. And pretty much I just cut the pictures and I put them in places. And that way you can, on Monday, you can make 2 slides like this, and you can ask the students, okay, chicos, ¿quién durmió? Who slept? Who took some naps this weekend? Who played video games or with their pets, or who played some kind of board game? And who cleaned the house? Or who did any of these other activities? And then they'll just go to the right corner. And then, you know, you'll ask again, and they can move to another activity, because the chances are is that they did more than just one activity. And then at some point you can tell them, you can say, okay, if you want to, okay, if you want to, this is not like, you don't have to do it my way, but if you want to, you can ask them to, once you have played several times, then you can ask them questions like, who likes to like, who go to the one you like the least, or go to the one you like the most, and things like that. And then at the end, you can ask them a question. You can say, hey, okay, wherever it is you're at, I want you to write a sentence about it. So they will just go to the sticky note and they will write a sentence about it. And then they have their support system right here where they can extend those sentences. And I meant to say before I actually keep going, if you are brand new to my group and you are brand new to Jamboard, this training might be a little bit too much. I don't want to discourage you from watching. By all means, please stay with me. But if it seems like, oh my God, that's a lot, how do you do this? How do you set it up from scratch? I already had a training that talks about all of that, and I'll be happy to link it So if you wanna know about Jamboard from scratch, just type a comment and I'll go back and I'll make sure you get that link for that training, because this is a little bit more advanced for people that are already somewhat comfortable with they have been using it to some extent. So this is one easy game. Another way, something else that's really neat about it is that, like I said, you can just go make a copy. And somebody was asking me, how do you make sure once I get the copy that you give me, how do I make sure I have copies? Well, if you purchase one of my templates, or if you get the weekend chat template, the weekend chat templates are free. If you get them, it doesn't matter if you purchase or you get them free from me, whichever way it is, you can always go back to the link and it will always make a brand new copy for you, okay? So you can do that. Or you can just click right here. Let's say that I have this jam. This is the one I'm going to use with first period. And I want to have the same jam for third period. So what I do is I just rename it. So I'm going to name it Spanish to first period. So I'll put it 2.1, something that works for me. Okay, so this is Spanish to first period. And bam, I have the activity very quickly for Spanish to first period. Let me close my copy so I don't mess with it. And now, okay, I'm also gonna teach the same, I'm going to use the same activity with third period. So I'm gonna do, make a copy, and my third period is Spanish 2. So I'm gonna say Spanish 2 third period and make a copy. And now I have my copies ready for all my classes. And some people were also asking, well, how do you save your jam? There is no saving feature. So however you leave the jam, like let's say you're working on it, it's automatically saved like a regular Google product. So there is no way to save it. And some people were also asking, I'm kind of like, I'm going to talk about games, but I'm also going to talk about some troubleshoots. Some people were also asking me, and they were saying, Berta, I cannot find the jams. I cannot find the jams. Some people were even messaging me on my product page that, you know, they got the jam, but they couldn't find it. So let me just be very clear about this. When you are having an emergency, when you can find your jam, it's probably because Google, in Google, you have different accounts. So if several people in your house use one computer and they all log in, you're gonna have like everybody's accounts in here. So you have to make sure that you check on your accounts. I think Amina was saying that that my screen was giving her a headache. I think, was it Amina? I think it was Amina who said that. But, or I don't know who else it was. Somebody say, oh, you know, this is like the screen is stressful. Yeah, it was Amina who said, it looks stressful to me. Okay, so in Jamboard, what you have in here, you have all of these. So I have used, with my school, I have used Jamboard with my personal account. I have used Jamboard with my teacher account. I mean, you name it. I have just kind of like used all of my accounts. So this is my personal account where I'm at right now. And I have had my students work through my personal account. It doesn't matter. They're not emailing me here. It doesn't matter. And this is a personal account. I don't really, I don't check my messages for this. So it doesn't matter. And then I have my school account. So this is a troubleshooting problem that is very common. If you cannot find it, if you cannot find your Jamboard, go and look on your accounts, because the chances is that you might have saved it on a different account that you were initially in. Okay, so again, if you are struggling, you're like, oh, I did a Jamboard and I can't find it, just go check in the accounts that are saved to your computer, because maybe Google is weird like that. Sometimes it saves things on a different account and it doesn't tell you. So so you just try that. Okay, so that's another thing that you can do for a game. So we talked about the 4 corners. Here's another game that I liked. So we were doing this activity with my classes. It's very much like just Q&A. And it's one of the T-charts that I have. And over here, I asked the students a question and I gave them 2 options and they just moved to the right option. You can easily turn this T-chart into a this or that game, which is very popular for students. It's very easy to do and it gets the students outputting somewhat. Okay, so I will say that for this particular game, you can turn it into this or that. You can say McDonald's or Burger King, okay? And they just move to the right place. They just move to the right place. And then when that happens, McDonald's or Burger King, then you can call on a student and say, ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? And then they can respond to you why they think, you know, their choice is better. And that's like a really quick game to do. And it's very easy to duplicate the slides. So if I wanted, as you can see, we work with 4 slides. We were not playing this or that on this particular jam. I was actually just asking them questions. I was doing personalized question and answer. And in this particular example, I did not ask them to write sentences. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I said, if you go to this side, I want you to type the long sentence and I want you to type your answer. Sometimes I make them do that. Sometimes I don't make them do that. In this case, I wanted the activity to move quicker and I just wanted to kind of like engage them on my lesson before starting. So I took them through 4 questions. And as you can see over here too, these were 4 questions we were doing and the students have to move back and forth, back and forth. And I would say that in here, the beauty about this, and some people told me, because I showed them a video of how I was playing Fly Swatter, and I'll get to that later today. And I could see all of my students playing, okay? I could see all of my students playing. And how do you see all of your students playing? And I have said that I love Jamboard because it is like you are having aerial view of your class virtually. And that's why I absolutely love Jamboard, because it's like you're having that aerial view of your class and you can tell who's engaged and who isn't. Because once you give the link to your students to join you, you can see all of them over here and you can see how many of them are in there. So the only disadvantage to Jamboard is that you can't see who's in there. So that's why you have the sticky notes with my students' names, because you know I need to know who is participating and who isn't. That's a limitation that Jamboard has. However, like I said, I invite my students, and if I have 16 or 18 students in this class, this is my smallest class. My other classes have like 28, 29, 30. This one is my smallest. I have 20 students. So in this particular class, I can see everybody in here. It will have little circles in here, and I will know how many people are here. And let's say I said, okay, guys, let's go to the second question. And I still see some people over here. I just kind of like say, okay, I'm waiting on 3 more people. And then they just quickly jump over here. So it is very easy to see who's participating and who isn't. So in this second question, I was asking them if they would like to be famous because of through a YouTube channel. And, you know, they were telling me if they would or if they wouldn't like it. And then I asked them why. And like I said, very quick questions right before going into the lesson for the day. Very interesting. So you can do personalized question and answer, and it could turn into kind of like a game because you're asking them questions and they're interesting questions. And like I said, with this same template, the T-chart, you can make a this or that game. So you can just put a picture of like Starbucks and a picture of like Dunkin' Donuts, or a picture of you know, like 2 different artists. Who do you prefer? Who do you like better? Or 2 different movies, and why? And you can ask the students and get them to move from side to side. So this is another game that you can play that's very easy to set up. And like I said, if I want to add another question, all I have to do, obviously the sticky notes would not be in there, is hit duplicate and it makes another frame for me. So for the basics of Jamboard, I'm not going to explain the basics, but these are called frames. Okay, for us, it's like they're pages. But in Jamboard, in the Jamboard world, these are called frames. So we tell the student, okay, I need everybody on frame 5. And then everybody goes to frame 5. Okay, so I will, let me pause for a second and let me go back to the questions that I have in here, because I know I saw a lot of comments. So Amy saying that the German teachers at her school will be excited. Yes, please share with the German teachers the weekend chat templates, because I made them because one teacher asked, she said, hey, do you have them in German? And I'm like, no, but I can make them happen. And making this template sometimes takes a little bit of time. So please, please, please share with the German teachers so that they can use them and enjoy them. Let's see what other questions we have in here. Jess is saying, I just got an idea for how to use this for subjunctive activity. Excellent. I use the gems you share and they're awesome, says Onis. Yes, and Kate is saying, Jess, please do share. If you guys do your jams, you can always share them in here. People have been sharing. If you look through the feed, people have been sharing the jams they've been making and with other people. And that way, somebody else might use them. So we're saving each other time. And then we have Jessie saying she's gonna make it tonight. I have a question right here. Why is Jamboard better than Google Slides? I really love the idea of jams, but I don't like how you can't freeze a background. I totally get you, Sarah. I wish Google will do something like they will do something like when you, like, for example, this thing that I would be able to make it stay somewhere. It should be as easy as just clicking on the image, and they could add an option that said lock. That would be amazing. I hope they do that. We need to tell them, okay? If you want that feature, we need to tell them. You can go to the Jamboard page, I think over here. No, or over here, no. Right here, send feedback to Google. I don't know how much attention they put on that, but you can definitely send feedback to Google and say, hey, could you add a function that says lock the picture in place? That will be useful. Oh, here's how I troubleshoot this in the classroom. I don't really have that issue a lot, because usually when people move the background images in my classroom, it's because it's an accident. So I make my students aware of the fact that they can move the items if they're not careful. So I tell them to be extra careful. Now, if I were doing an activity with my students and they were just playing around with it, I will just tell the students, hey guys, we can do this activity through Jamboard that is going to still provide me what I need to see if you are with me, if you're understanding. And it's very easy, and it's, you're not gonna have to do a lot of work with it. Or I can give you an independent activity in Google Classroom or Canvas or whatever. Which one do you want? I don't know. If I'm a student, I'm going to want the one that requires the least work, and I'm going to be more willing to cooperate. And if I'm causing problems, I'm going to stop causing problems that way. So my suggestion, if you're having students going crazy with this, is to actually just tell them what the counter offered is. So we can either do Jamboard or we can do this. And when they see that the other offer is not as attractive, they tend to actually say, okay, let's do this because we don't want to do the other one. So that's one thing. That's one way you can tackle it. How is it better than Google Slides? For me, the engagement is a lot better. I can have all 30 of my students in here. I don't know what it is, if it's the sticky notes function or what, but my students actually find this a lot more appealing than working on a collaborative Google Slide. Don't get me wrong, we still use collaborative Google Slides from time to time, and I can put them on the grid view and watch what they're doing. But in here, I'm able to see them more clearly. I'm able to see them more clearly as I'm watching what they're doing. And I'm able to kind of I can see their names. So if they're not finished with the response, I can say, oh, okay, Sanaya, I need you to finish typing this answer. Or I just feel like I'm more on top of it. And the students feel like they're, they feel like, oh, she's watching everybody. So, and like I said, it's more appealing for them. I've noticed that my participation rate with Jamboard is by far higher than when I actually use a collaborative document. Okay, collaborative documents still have a place in my classroom, but the participation with Jamboard is just a lot higher. So I really like it. So let me see what other questions I have here. I think the post-it notes make it easier for students. Yes, they do. I hate that you can use the image as a background and the kids love it around, move it around by accident, drives them crazy too. It depends how much they're moving them, okay? I mean, if it's just an accident, they're not gonna be moving it as much. If they're like really trying to sabotage your lesson, that's a different story. ¿Cómo se dice frame en español? I would say marco, el marco, but I don't know what the Spanish Jamboard term would be. But I would say frame, marco. They need to have a link in order to get in the jam. Yes, they do. And the way you give them a link is by going to share and making sure that the setting is anyone on the internet with this link can edit. You copy that link, you send it to them, and they're all in here and they're able to move stuff around. And they're able to use the sticky note function. They're able to type text. They're able to add pictures. They're able to highlight and annotate. Okay, so today I said I was gonna share with you. I was gonna share with you about games, and I am, and I don't wanna get way too much off track, but I wanna show you something that I did. Now, I have already paid for Go Formative for the year. I love Go Formative, like for testing, just more like of a serious test feel, Go Formative all the way. But I wanna show you what I did with Jamboard. I actually had my students, let me go to my account over here. I actually had my students do a little IPA, interpretive reading, only the interpretive reading part of an IPA right here. And pretty much I gave them like an authentic resource, a blog post. And then I gave them instructions and I told them, okay, keyword recognition. If you're familiar with the integrated performance assessments, they're the assessments that ACFL recommends using with authentic resources. And you can do a series of them with like interpretive listening, interpretive reading, presentational speaking. So I only did the interpretive reading part. So what I had them do is I gave them an authentic resource and I had the keyword recognition. So I said, find in the blog post a Spanish word that best expresses the meaning of each of the following phrases. Now, I haven't taught many of these phrases to my students, but because we're looking for keyword it's a keyword recognition activity, I obviously selected phrases that I thought they would be able to recognize one way or another by scanning the text. So here is what, and I said, highlight it with this color, this color, this color, this color. And here they went and did it. And then I said, using the information from the blog post and infographic, provide the main idea of the article, of the post in English. So they were to tell me the main idea, and then I asked them to find the answers or the information, this following information, and to circle it. And then they went and circle it. And then I asked them, because we did a survey very similar to this one in class, as a class, I asked them to compare and contrast the results presented in this infographic about the people in Mexico versus the information we did looked at as a class, and to tell me what were the differences, the attitudes towards reading from the Mexican perspective versus the one of the American perspective, looking at their students, at their friends' data. And then they were able to give me the comparison. So again, I used Jamboard to do a very quick IPA, integrated performance assessment. So if you do not have Go Formative, Jamboard is excellent for annotating and just kind of like writing. If I could have asked them to write something about each one of these on the side, or I could say, pick a paragraph and the paragraph that you understand the most, and tell me what it says, not necessarily translate it, but just kind of like convey the meaning of such paragraph. And so this is an activity that I did. It's not a game, but I wanted to share with you because this is how you can use the highlight or underline feature. You can put a picture of a resource and you can give them little tasks to complete. And you can also assign them to them. You can have one jam and you can like make a copy of all of them and then assign, okay, student, that's student, one student, the first student on the roster goes to one, the second on the second, and then so on. Or you can actually assign this to the students individually on Google. Okay, so that's another way you can use Jamboard. Let's see what else we have. Jessica says she calls them the frames cuadros. That works too. Okay, that works too. Let's see. I don't like get to hang up in the words in Spanish, to be honest. Like I just, okay, I use marco, and if somebody else feels more comfortable saying cuadro, like call it a square, that's fine. Okay, Jessica saying, I love your Matamoscas game with this. Kids said it was so laggy they couldn't tell who put it first, and they were pretty frustrated. Would this work better in Google Slides? I honestly don't know if it would work better on Google Slides or not. I think, from what I've seen, I think it would work better on Jamboard. Now, I actually researched. I have heard a few people say that Jamboard was crashing on them. So out of like hundreds, I've done I've done Jamboard presentations to like hundreds of people by now in different Facebook communities, and out of like hundreds, I can maybe say 4 people have told me that Jamboard was crashing for them or lagging. I have never, ever, ever, and I've used Jamboard pretty much every day in my class now. I have never experienced Jamboard lagging for anything I've done with my students, and I've done a lot. So I have no idea why it was lagging, but I did research a little bit yesterday to find out why it lagged. And the only answer I could come up with is because it had too many pictures. So if you put way too many pictures, maybe it will make it lag. For example, this is one that I'm gonna have on my TPT store. I don't have this one on my TPT store yet. I'm gonna do one with like 2 games for time telling. But this one right here, it's the template that I have. As you guys know, some of you already got my template. So let me show you where those are. Let me close this one out. Let me close this one out. Let me go over here. Let me go to the other place. Okay, so I have this fly swatter Jamboard in French, Spanish, and English. Okay, so they're available in French, Spanish, and English under the same product listing. So let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the fly swatter one. So with the fly swatter one, this is what you get. Let me open it up. So with the fly swatter one, this is what you get. You get this one right here. And then you will either tell your students to find their opponent themselves if you don't want to do the work ahead of time. When I played it yesterday with my students, I actually took about 5 minutes to pair them up myself because I wanted to make sure that they were kind of like equally challenged. So I have 2 heritage speakers in my Spanish class, in my Spanish 2 class. So I had to make sure they were against each other. And then I had other students who are high achievers and I had to make they were against each other. So I kind of like paired them up that way. I did that ahead of time. But, you know, it is also fun to let them play with their friends. I am not against that either. It is also fun because we want this activity to be meaningful in language, but also that they enjoy it. And one way to allow them to enjoy it is to actually have them try to beat their friends. They'll get more into it. So it will be up to you. You can assign them the frame, or you can have them come in here and type their name. So let's say that I am going to be playing this game with them. So I make sure that, you know, the student is facing this student and they're going to frame number 2. And here are the frames. Frame number 2, frame number 3, 4, all the way to 16 to accommodate up to 30 students. Okay, so once they're all in there, I tell them to go to the correct frame. The first time you are going to be playing fly swatter with them virtually in Jamboard, it's just like anything else in the regular classroom. The first time you give instructions for a new game, it takes you longer than it might take you to actually play the game, does it not? It does for me. Anytime I do a new brain break or a new game and I try to explain it to my students, whether it's in Spanish or in English, it takes me a long time to set it up just to make sure they understand what we're doing. So if this will be the first time you're doing fly swatter with your student, please take time, just breathe and take time to explain to them the rules and how does it work, because it's gonna save you so much headache, okay? So you assign the students who they're gonna be playing, and then you said, okay, I need in frame 2, I need Erica, and I need John. In frame 3, I need Amaya, and I need Jarrell. In frame number 4, I need Caleb, and I need Nashira. And then you're just like checking that the kids are going, and you're gonna see them over here, how they're moving, to the right place. Like for example, when I was setting this up yesterday, I have one student who is usually he's in the class, but he's slick because he likes to make it seem like he's participating, but he's not. So, and he wasn't on his frame. So I said, oh, I see that in Tatiana and Adrian's group, I am missing one of you guys. I don't know if it's Tatiana or if it's Adrian. Who is it? So I just, like I said, I'm able to see who is there, like right at the moment, and I'm able to flip through it very quickly and just check. So once I have everybody on the right frame, then I will say in English, I would say, okay, what time is it? What time is it? It is 2:50. And they just have to move the Flies Water to the right place. Now, when you purchase my Flies Water game, you want to tell the students to make sure the setting is, the Flies Water has bring to front setting so that you can actually move it. In this one, because this one's set up to bring to the front. They're all set up to bring to the front. But if it's not bring to the front, let's say that it's sent to the back, you're not gonna see it. So you wanna make sure it's brought to the front so that you can tap it. Because if it's not, you're actually, let me go send to backward. It's not gonna disappear, but it's gonna go behind the clock. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, so the comment was, it was laggy. So maybe something you wanna do is not put as many pictures. Like this one right here, even though it looks like a lot of clocks, it's actually one picture. Okay, it's actually one picture. So this jam only has one picture, well, 2 and 3. Okay, that's all it has. But that's it. That's it. But if you have a lot of elements on it, that might be something that's gonna make it lag. We played another jam. Let me show you the one we played yesterday. It's nothing fancy. It is nothing fancy. So let me see if I can find it. I think I made it in here, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I won't be able to find it because, that's just my luck. No, it wasn't here. Okay, wait. Was it this one? Okay, I think this is the one I played. And as you can see, I have my students in here paired against each other. And I have the heritage speaker with each other so that it's fair. So we were learning about Los Polinesios, which is a group of siblings who are very famous YouTubers in Mexico and in the world. And they have like prank videos. I just wanted to bring something happy to my students. They have really, really happy prank videos. And it was something that was going to be compelling to my students. And they have a really good song we're going to be doing tomorrow that I made some activities for. And so before we even played this game, we read an authentic resource. And let me see if I can show you. So I talked to them about Los Polinesios. I talked to them about the band in Spanish. I said, okay, this is a band, and they're very famous and whatnot. And then after that, let me go to this other one. After that, I sent them to a page. It's an authentic resource because it's a Utopedia in Spanish. So I send them over here, and I send them to find on a paper information about each one of the siblings. And you can see, if you're a Spanish teacher, you can see that the information about the people is very comprehensible. Like, it's the oldest brother. Favorite food is pizza. He likes to listen to K-pop. He really likes the movie Sega for Harry Potter. So I send them over here to go find information about each one of these guys who do YouTube, the siblings who do YouTube. And then after that, I asked them questions, and then I wanted to check their understanding, see if they did what I asked them to do. And what I did after that's when we play the Flies Water, this game. So I made statements like, oh, he's the oldest brother, and he studied, what did Rafa study? He studied marketing. I said that statement in Spanish. He is the oldest brother, and he studied marketing. And then bam, they went for it. And I said, she's the youngest sister and she is very sentimental and she is a book author. Bam. They loved, he loves, these people love Chihuahuas, or he or she loves Chihuahuas. Okay, all of them love Chihuahuas and wiener dogs. So they went for it. So I just gave descriptions from what they read. And then the students actually went and played, and it was a lot of fun. I laughed a lot, they laughed a lot, they really enjoy it. But as you can see in this Flies Water game, it took me, like with my template, it took me 5 minutes to get the pictures from Google, set it up, and then I was able to, I mean, I could have come up with like 20 different sentences about these guys and just played it for 20 minutes, but I only did about 7 or 8. And they had a lot of fun with this. So that's kind of like how you play Fly Swatter. Here's another game that I'm going to show you, but let me check on the questions. So I answered that about what possibly could be making it lag is that if you have too many elements on the jam and you duplicate all of those elements, it might actually make it lag. Rebecca saying, thank you for the advice about how to handle the jokers. Yes, I don't like to threaten students, but I like to give them warnings. And I said, okay, guys, I love to do this. Like, this is, amazing for me. And not only that, I can see how much you're learning if you're with me. But if you are not cooperating, we can always do a Google worksheet. How would you like to do that? I mean, it's easy for me to grade. It's easy for you to do. And I'm telling you, they will change your attitude. Okay. My students started messing around with other students' notes, making them bigger and drawing in the activity. Madeline, I don't know if you teach, I don't think you teach middle schoolers, but I will try to figure out who that student is. You will be able to tell if it's only one student, who that student is, and just address that with that student directly. How did you log those 2 lines together? Like the T-chart? Okay. So as you guys know, I have inside my TPT store, I have, you can buy, I think it's like 22 plus Jamboard frames to do activities. Let me show them to you real quick. A lot of you already have them. So, oh, sorry, I left that place. Let me go to this one and let me go to this account. So I have them in French, Spanish, and English. And here are all of my templates. So we have the 4-corner templates, this one right here. And then we have 4 corners, and you can change it because there's one that you can change. We have like an make a prediction one. So you can just say, make a prediction about the novel, the chapter, or whatever, and then they'll be able to make a prediction. One of my favorite ones that I really like, picture of the day. You can put your photo in here. When you start a unit, this is excellent. You can put a photo in here. Let me change that because there's some misspelling. You can put a photo in here, and then you can have the students write their observations and their inferences and tell you why. And that way, you have the students thinking. It's like a hook activity. So the question was, how do you do that? How do you do the T-chart? Basically, you can do any Jamboard frame by going to Google, or and going to, let me just do it, because some people are just more visual learners and we have time, because today I wanted to share with you the games. I'm sharing with you the games. I'm still sharing with you the games, but I also want to, if some people have a question, since I don't have like a super thick agenda today of what to share with you, I want to answer those questions. So basically, how you create your Jamboard frames from scratch, you basically will go to Google. This is the easiest way to do it. And then you are going to, you can get super crazy with it. You can have really pretty backgrounds, or you can just have something plain. I like to keep mine plain, to be honest, as you can see in my designs. So you'll just like draw the line. Well, I'm gonna make the T-chart one right now. So here's my line, and I like my line, and let me just make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to, I can, okay, let's say I wanna make this one blue. Okay, here it is. Then I can add another line, or I can just copy and paste this line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this number and move it and just make it as big as I want it. And I have my T-chart, okay? So it might not be perfect or whatever, but you know, I'm just kind of like showing you. I won't put any text on it, like just like my templates on TPT. I don't put any text on them sometimes because I want you to be able to edit that text and add whatever you want. So here is my frame. I'm going to go to File, Download JPEG Image. So I'm going to download it, but let me do T-chart blue. Okay, File, Download, JPEG image. Okay, there it is. It went to my downloads, T-chart blue. Now I can go to Jamboard and I can go to plus, new jam. I'm gonna go to get a new jam. And now all I'm going to do is I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna make sure I'm on my downloads and I'm gonna go find my file. Let me see if it pops up. It's not popping up. Okay, that's okay, because I'm going to simply, please don't judge all the stuff I have on my downloads that I need to pretty much get rid of. But I haven't had the time. I don't know if anybody else can relate. So let me go find it. ST. Oh, there it is. T-chart blue. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna open that. I'm gonna go put it in here and then I'm just gonna adjust it to my jam. And now I have a beautiful blue T-chart to work with. And now what I can do is I can play a this or that game. So let me do, not a picture from here. Let me do a Google image search. So let's do, what do I want to do? Batman. Okay, Batman. Or, you know, this might not be the best choice for this or that. As far as like Batman versus Iron Man, or Iron Man. Okay, so there is my this or that game. Okay, I could say that, and then I can have my little text box. ¿Qué prefieres? Bam. I can make it bigger. I can change the color. I have my activity, and let's say that I actually want to make several of these. All I have to do PQAs, personalized questions and answers, and then I just go duplicate, 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 and then I can do some more on my second frame. I'm on frame 2 now. Take this picture off, take this picture off, and then put 2 other options, and then go to the next one and put 2 other options, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is how you make your frames with like all these elements from scratch. Basically, if you have a presentation, if you have an activity on Google Slides already, you could definitely like download the picture or screenshot the portion and bring it to Jamboard so that the students can work on it on Jamboard. So that's another option of something you can do. Okay, so let me go to that. Let me check my time because I want to make the most out of your time. Okay, we got a couple minutes. All right, so I answered the question. How did you lock those 2 lines together? You can find T-charts in Google Images and just insert a picture. Yes, you can find certain things on Google Images and just add the picture. That was what I was gonna do with my next IPA. Jess, excellent. Can I share this? Somebody said, can you share this? Sarah Wilson was asking, can you share this? Are you referring to the IPA, Sarah? If you're referring to the IPA, I will post it on my page. I just need you to reply and let me know if that was what you were talking about. My students got messages they weren't authorized, but only some of them. Frustrating. I don't know. I never heard that one. Maybe they were on a different, when they logged in, they were on a different Google account. I don't know, but that shouldn't even matter. So if a jam is shared with individual students, does the setting have to stay in editor always? Okay, that is a great question. Okay, so let me address that question right now. Let me go back to my authentic resource on Jamboard. So here's my authentic resource. Oh, okay. So let me share the other thing that I did. So here's my authentic resource for, this is another thing I love about Jamboard. And then I had my authentic resource for, this one was for my heritage speakers. I changed the questions around to be a little bit more challenging. And then this was, so it was differentiated. So I have them for my regular class and then my heritage speakers. And I am gonna share it. I'll share it. Sarah, you answered. You were referring to the IPA. I will share it after I'm done with the session today. And I haven't shared it with you guys because I was gonna write a blog post about it. But you guys being in my group, being here tonight for this Facebook Live, you get like to know firsthand my thinking behind it. So again, this is for my heritage speakers. And as you can see, I asked them in Spanish, express with your own words, what does these phrases mean? It has become like a roller coaster. And it's in a segment of the population. Obviously, they're, you know, even though they're heritage speakers, maybe their brain doesn't process language like that sometimes, especially, you know, if their level is like intermediate low, intermediate mid. What do you think has been the purpose of this blog post? Explain in Spanish and write a summary in this little note. And then I said, using the infographic as your guide, film a video of yourself, asking your family their opinions, and they had to kind of generate questions. So they had to read this infographic and come up with questions that were probably asked to get this information. So a lot of analysis here, higher order thinking. What did Miguel de Cervantes meant when he said, he who reads a lot, walks a lot, sees a lot, and knows a lot? What does that mean? So, you know, a lot, definitely more for like my heritage speakers. And so I will gladly share both versions of this with you. But again, we were talking about how to assign it. Okay, so if you do not, I'm going to show you how to do it. If you don't, I'll show you how to do it both ways. If you do not use Google Classroom, okay, if you don't use Google Classroom, you can do it this way. You're gonna share. You're gonna make sure that anyone on the internet with this link can view. You're gonna click copy and then put it over here. And then you're gonna force a copy. This is how you can force a copy with any document that is made by Google, not just Jamboard. You're gonna highlight all the way to edit and you're gonna change it for the word copy, and then bam, it's gonna make a copy of it. And no, you're not gonna click on make a copy. This is just to show you this right here. If you don't get a message that looks like this, that means you did it wrong. So you have to get a message that looks like this. This is your confirmation that you did it right. And then you're gonna highlight this, copy that link, and then you're gonna go to your LMS, whatever that might be, and that's the link you're gonna leave so that your students can work on their jams independently. So this is one way to do it if you do not have Google Classroom as a way to assign this, okay? So if you are a Google Classroom school, then what you're going to do, let me go to my Google Classroom. I am not supposed to be using Google Classroom, but I do anyway because my other LMS that my school adopted this year is very, very bad. And the students have a lot of problems with uploading documents. So therefore, I decided to open a Google account and just not do what I was supposed to do because I wanted to make things easier for my students. So here is what I assigned them. Here's what I assigned them. And let me go to, where is this one at? Let me go to classwork, create, and then assignment. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to add link and go to this, and I can go to add link and it will make a copy for each student. I can do that. But something else that I could do is, let me go back to the original one. Something else I can do is I can just get the link without having to force the copy. So I will just go to share. This is if you have Google Classroom, only if you have Google Classroom. Go to share, copy link. Let's go to my assignment. I'm gonna go to add link, put the link in here. And then over here, I can change it to make a copy for each student. So that when I hit assign, I put all of my details in here and I hit assign, bam, all of my students, when they open it, they have their own copy. And it's a lot easier for them and a lot easier for you. Okay, so that's how you do it. Make a copy for each student. Let me go back to my thingy right here. Let me check my questions. Can you share this? I love to model something. Yes, I am sharing the IPA. My students got messages. Okay, I already read this messages. Sorry, guys. What about an odd number of students? Okay, so if you have an odd number of students for Fly Swatter, you can always ask them who doesn't want to play. You have two options. Okay, you can play against that student. And that means that if you're playing against that student, it's kind of unfair. And also, it is you won't be able to monitor the other students. So that's up to you. You can have 3 students in one frame. So let's say that you have 3 students. All you gotta do is just duplicate, and then you have 3 students. And I had a teacher who emailed me today and said that she wanted to add like a green fly swatter. If you find a picture on Google, you certainly can bring another fly swatter, even one that looks different, that will work too. But definitely you can have 3 people playing one, so that's another option. Or you can ask a student who doesn't want to play but wants to do the work in writing individually. You will have those students too, and then that way you can have you can kind of even it out. So those are 3 ways that you can handle when you have an uneven number of students for fly swatter. Let me look at some more questions in here. My students got message. Okay, we already talked about that. Are the frames okay? Yes, when I for my products, let me show you my TPT product really quickly. Let me go to, I have to go to my drive and I have to go to my other account. And let me go to my TPT, and here is, okay, so when you purchase my TPT product, which obviously you do not have to, okay, I'm addressing this because you guys, somebody was asking me here. When you purchase my TPT product, you're gonna get this link. These are the same things, but one is Spanish, one is French, and one is English. And you are going to get the templates for Fly Swatter, and you're gonna get the template for what is it, Cuatro en Línea or Connect 4, and then you're gonna get the template for Tic-Tac-Toe. Okay, I already explained to you how to play Fly Swatter. You have like videos of me explaining how to play whole class version Connect 4 and whole class version Breakout Rooms version. And then you can do the same with Tic-Tac-Toe, play it as a whole class or play it in breakout rooms. So once you hit make a copy, this is what the template looks like, okay? Because I want you to see what it looks like. It's just, you have your first page with the frames. It's already done for you. You can delete the second page. This is only there to give you kind of like an image of what it could look like. You can delete, and then you just work on the third page, and it is blank, but what you can do is you can have pictures. You can have pictures, and you know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna go back and I'm gonna add another frame that has 3 fly swatter, so that if you have a third student or an even number, that will be easier for you. I'm gonna do that for the people who already purchased this. So it will have next time you make a copy, you'll have 3 flies, one with 3 fly swatters in case you need it. So yeah, that's what that template looks like. Then you have the Connect 4 template, and let's talk about Connect 4 since I'm over here. Connect 4 is a great activity. You guys know how to play it. The kids know how to play it. And it's essentially the same thing. You're gonna pair them up if you're gonna have them play it in breakout rooms separately. And my suggestion, but you can do this however you want to. My suggestion is that you're gonna prepare a document for them that you can add in here. Once you prepare that document, you can add a page in here and then slap that document in there, okay? And as a matter of fact, you can go over here and you can go to Google and you can add, you can upload a file. Okay, so you should be able to upload a file from here. So you could do that too. You can just like give them the file. Let me go back and delete because this is, okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna come up with 42 questions. Now, in my video, I said, if you are reviewing something, like let's say you did a story, or let's say you did a novel, ask the students to do the questions for you. This is what I do all the time, okay? Even pre-COVID times. When I'm getting ready to do a quiz, I ask all of my students, I want everybody to do 4 questions. One question needs to be easy, multiple choice. One needs to be fill in the blank. One needs to be multiple choice, true or false, fill in the blank. The multiple choice, please give me the options. Go ahead and make the options for me. And then also give me an open-ended question. So that way, if I have 30 students, multiply that times, let's not multiply 30 because not all 30 are gonna do it. Let's multiply 27 times 4. That's how many questions you're gonna have. And if you have them create the questions on a Google document, that could be something they do in class the day before. The day before they're gonna play Connect 4, have them generate questions about the story. Each one of them is gonna have their own way they have processed the story, and they're gonna create questions, which is a skill they need to have anyway. So have them create those questions and have them all submit them in a collaborative Google document or in a collaborative jam. That way you have the questions, you narrow down the questions, you select the best 42, and the teacher does not have to create any work. It's already done for you. And then the next day you give them a document with the 42 questions. And then you, once you have told them where they are, who they're playing against, that's when you can do the whole thing. What you're going to do, all you have to do is make sure you have who's playing against who. You don't have to add any more frames here, okay? Because you don't need to, because you're gonna send them on breakout rooms and you want them to do this individually. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna share and you're gonna do what I told you to do. And I'm not gonna change it because I think, oh no, this is my copy. Okay, so anyone with the link can view. You're gonna force the copy. You're gonna force the copy and you're gonna share this link with them on the breakout, on the chat, and you're gonna share it with everybody. And you're gonna tell them, before you share the link with them, you're gonna tell them, blue team, only the people in the blue team can open the link. And blue team, please give access to the red team, because you do not wanna have the blue team and the red team to open the document. You just want the people in the blue team, and the people in the blue team are gonna give access to the people on the red team so that they can play together in the breakout room. Okay, so and then you send them on breakout rooms, and then they're playing, they're going through the questions, they're doing this activity, and they're playing Connect 4, they're having fun, and then they can submit back to you their completed jam. Because if you see on the back, this is optional. You know your darlings better than I do. My darlings will need to answer the questions to show me that they're working, okay? I have maybe like, in a class of 30, maybe 10, I would be like, okay, they did their work, they don't need to turn in anything, but you know, we cannot, I'm just gonna say everybody needs to answer the questions. So they are playing Connect 4. They're playing Connect 4, and the way, you know how they play, they're gonna say, oh, okay, I'm gonna answer question 40. What's question 40? And the friend reads it to them, and then they're like, oh, the answer is such and such. Okay, let me put my circle in there. And then the next guy says, oh, I'm gonna answer question 37. Okay, what's the answer? Okay, that is it. All right, let me put my red circle there. And as they are playing, they're also pausing to answer the questions. And again, that is only if you, the teacher, want them to answer the question. If you don't want them to answer the questions, they don't have to answer the questions. You call the shots, okay? So that's how you can do it. Whole class version with Connect 4, it works the same way. You will share with everybody the questions, and then you will call on different students and randomly to kind of, you'll go ahead and assign, blue team and red team too. And then you will just call on random students to give you the answers, and you can either give them access so they can move their circles to where they want to, or you can, you know, be the one in charge of that. It's up to you, but that's how you play it whole class. If you want to play it whole class. Okay, So let me see, what are, the frames are already ready. Yes, so as you can see, this frame is already ready. I will try tomorrow, Friday. I did matamoscas with your pictures, basic information. You can do sentences or questions. Absolutely, yes, you can do with matamoscas. Excellent point, Eunice. That's why my Jamboard frames are very simple. And like I said, because I wanted you know, I could make Jamboards for like time, clothing, and like vocabulary. But if you are not buying my unit, if you're not studying the same thing, if you're not teaching the same thing I'm teaching, it's useless to you. So I wanted to make something that you could personalize to whatever it is you're teaching very easily. That's just ready for you to use. So what you can do, instead of having the pictures, you can have the names of the people, or you can have, if you can ask questions and you can have the answers of the questions. So you could put like 10 different, um, 10 different little text boxes or 10 different sticky notes with the answers to questions, and you can ask the question and then they can slap the answer. So that's another way that they can do, that they can play Flies Water with text. Okay, that's what Onisa was saying. Thanks for reminding me of that. All great ideas. Thank you so much, you guys. And so we have, this is in group of 2. Yes, so I have 2 separate Jamboard products and my Teachers Pay Teacher store. And so this is on group 2. Okay, this is on group 2. This is the last game that I wanted to share with you. It is tic-tac-toe. And so you will make a copy. And then this one, it's very simple to play. Same principle. You're going to assign your students, the blue team and the red team. And then you can do the same thing as with Connect 4. Okay. So if you're going to have them play tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe is going to be a much shorter game. Okay. So I would advise that you prepare two tic-tac-toe. So that means 9 pictures, well, 18 pictures, and or 18 pieces of text. And then what you're going to do is you are going to bring the pictures and put them in here. Okay, so you will bring the pictures and put them here. So let's say you just did a story. Okay, those of you who like to do storytelling, I love doing storytelling. So if I did a story, I can just actually go right here and I could say, es una chica muy cruel y mala con sus padres. Okay, I am writing about a character. Okay, or I could say, something else. I could say her dress is green. You know, just like different text I can put around, and then I can ask the question, and then the students can take turns asking the questions. But in order for them to actually position their circle or X, whatever they want to, they have to ask the question or answer a question, if that makes sense. And you can have the students record their answers, and by adding another page, you'll add another page, and then you can type record your answers here, and you can number these. You can even number this in here. So this would be number 2. And you can have them just record their answers on the back page. If you want them to produce some work, again, if you want them to, it will be something they will do together. So that's less grading for you. And I would advise that if they're playing together, you let them do it together, just to keep them accountable. But again, if your students, you know, follow through without you having to be on top of them, that's not the case for most people, not myself included, then I would suggest have them write the questions. Okay, do we have any more questions in here for tonight? So I wanted to share with you how you play these games. And you can also play it whole class. You can prepare several of these, and again, break them into 2 separate groups, blue team, red team, and then just you call on kids randomly to play from the red team and the blue team so that they can play, and you can just like do it together. And if you're playing at whole class, actually, if you are playing at whole class, I do advise you have them write the answers on their own sheet of paper, not in the jam, on their own sheet of paper. Because if you're playing at whole class, you don't even have to share the link with everybody. You can just use this and then or you can share the link so they can move their pieces. But because you're playing it the whole class and you want to keep everybody accountable, ask them to write the answers to the questions. So that way everybody's listening, everybody's learning, everybody's taking in, and we're not just there, you know, playing a game and half the class is not even paying attention, because that's not what we want. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for being with me tonight. It's been a pleasure. I love sharing with you guys ideas. I love it when you guys share with me ideas, when you tag me on Instagram or Twitter or on Facebook, and you're like, oh, look at what I came up with. It's like, I just, you know, I am so proud of everything that people have been doing. You can play lottery and you can play bingo. That is a great thing that you have mentioned. You don't even need to, like, definitely you can use this template for that, or you can bring the pictures. You could actually find the pictures of the Spanish lottery or whatever lottery you want to play and pull them up in here and actually play that virtually. That's another way you can do it. You can also have the kids create their own bingo. You can make a grid and add the people. Those of you who purchase, before you leave, those of you who purchase my, let me go to my store here so I can show you. Those of you who purchase, where is my product listings? Right here. So I have 2 products, and then I have a free download, which is like a makeup work system that you can download for free. But if you have purchased this product, which was like 22 plus Jamboard templates, if you have purchased this, I'm going to be adding a template that is 2 truths and 1 lie. And I'm going to be adding a bingo template to this one. And I'm also going to add it to this other one because, you know, it's the same thing. It's a game. So, and the bingo template is not going to be anything fancy. It's just going to be a box with, like, you know, 4 and 4, so that it's for bingo. So I will share that with you guys as well in there. I will add it to that resource so that you can just download it. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for being with me tonight. I have enjoyed sharing with you. I hope you guys have learned a lot about playing games with Jamboard. And like I said, honestly, the possibilities are endless. That's why I love it. And I think that's going to answer the question, how is this better than PowerPoint? I mean, or Google Slides, because of all the things you can do with it. And the kids are just more engaged with it. So definitely give it a try if you haven't. And if you are brand new to Jamboard, you haven't used it, and you're not ready to dive into the games, write a comment on this conversation so I can tag you on the Jamboard Basics training, okay? You guys have a great evening. I will talk to you guys later. Hasta luego. Let me stop the recording.